Bricklink, Bricklink, Bricklink. How the hell do you use Bricklink? Hey guys, and welcome to the first in a new series of videos. So this is a new series that I've decided to do, and it is a series of Bricklink tutorial videos. Now probably a lot of you know what Bricklink is already. I'm probably already using Bricklink, but I thought it'd be quite a good idea to kind of outline and break up a series of videos on how to use specific parts of Bricklink. So as you probably already know, if you follow my channel, and you've probably seen the video, I did a video a while ago on how to make money selling Lego, and part of that process is I use Bricklink as one of the options that I use to sell Lego. Now, in terms of the videos that I'm going to be doing, as I said, I'm going to be breaking up into small chunks. So I'll be covering topics such as how to part out a Lego set, how to do that process and then sell parts from it. But I'll be covering all sorts of things, and Bricklink itself is quite a huge website. It's quite a few options in there. I'm sure you've probably, if you've looked at it, I'm sure you've probably seen that there's lots of options that you don't quite know what they do, not quite sure whether to tick it or untick it. So I'm hoping I'm going to try and uncover a few of the mysteries around those options, but we'll see how that goes. So the first video today is going to be how to create a wanted list, or how to create a list of parts that you need to build a retired set. So what I'll cover off is how you find that set based on the set number or based on a description, how you find the parts that are needed for that set, how you create that wanted list, and then how you then go about sourcing those parts. So that'll be today's video. As I said, there will be a number of videos coming up. This is the first of, I think I've got about 10 or so planned, but there may be more depending on how successful these are and depending on what information I can figure out how to tell you. I know there's been videos already on YouTube done about how to use Bricklink, so I may already be telling you stuff that you already know. I'm doing a bit of research. Some of those videos probably date back to 2017, 2018, so I'm hopefully this has been more current, so it's Bricklink as of now, not as of 2 years ago. So I'm going to get into the video now. I'm going to show you how to start parting out your sets and start building a list for building retired sets. Right then guys, so what you've got here is the Bricklink website, and I've already logged in, and most of you will probably be familiar with the front page, so you can click on here and you can browse sets, parts, minifigs, etc. You can also look at mocks, so people who build mocks in Studio and they upload them onto Bricklink, so you can see those as well. But for the purpose of this video, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how you search for a set and then part that out into a wanted list, which you can then later use that wanted list to then search for the parts to build a retired set. So what I'm going to do is I have a set here, which is the Speed Champion set, and it is set number 75892. So the first thing I need to do is obviously work out what parts are in this set. Now, obviously I've got this set, so I wouldn't be parting out this set to find parts to build it because I've already got the parts. But let's say you want to build one of the old Speed Champion sets and it's not available now, then basically what you can do is you can put the set number in and part it out and then start to build up the wanted list. But for the purpose of this, I'm going to use this set and use this set number just to demonstrate how you do that. So there's two ways to do that. So the first thing you can do is you can search for the set number here or search for it by description. So I'm going to put in the set number, which is 75892. And then what it'll do, it'll recommend some related numbers, but it'll also give you the numbers underneath it here, and you can see it's giving me the three options. Tend to select the top option. So in this case I'm going to click on that one, and then eventually that will take you into that particular set. And in this view here, I'm not going to go into too much detail on this view because there's going to be another video which I'm going to show you how you part out a set to sell parts, but this is basically showing you information about the set, the weight of it, the year it was released, number of parts it consists of, few options around parting it out to put in your store inventory or parting it out into a wanted list. It'll also give you a bit of a price guide. Again, I'll do another video on that. And then it tells you who's actually selling it. So it gives you a list of options or a list of users at the bottom here who's actually currently selling that set. But what I want to do is, let's assume that I don't have this set and I want to build this set from parts off Bricklink. So first of all, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this part out. Now there are two ways to do this. There's two ways to part it out. There's this option here. So once you've searched for the set number via the description or the set number, then you can part out from here. The other way to do it is if you go up to the want option, which is the top right hand corner with a little love heart, there's also a part out option there. Now if I click on that, I'll just quickly show you that screen. And here you can enter the set number here as well, or you can actually browse the set. But what I'll do is I'll show you both ways. So I'll go back to doing it the other way. So what I'll do is I'll do the set number again, 75892, and we'll reselect that, and we'll show you how to part out the first way. So if I've already got a predetermined wanted list, because you can create wanted lists from the one option, but what I want to do is create a brand new one. So I'm going to do part out, which will then take me to the part out screen. It's going to take me to the same screen as though I were going up to the one option and clicking this part out option here, but it's already pre-filled the set number, which is good. It has selected the parts and the minifigure that comes in that set. Now if you wanted to include, let's say you're selling a set, the original box and the instructions, then you can tick those, but for the purpose of the video we are wanting to part out to create a wanted list to build this set, from assuming it's a retired set. You're going to select that you want to create a new wanted list. Here is where you can select a pre-created wanted list, but I want to create a brand new one. I'm going to give it a name, so I'm going to say this is the McLaren Senna wanted list. So once you've entered the new wanted list, here you can specify whether you want new parts or used parts. Now used parts tend to be cheaper than new parts, but I would leave it at any condition for the purpose of this, because when you then when you get Bricklink to search the various stores, it will look for the cheapest price for that part, whether it's new or used. If you were wanting to build a set that you wanted to just make out of brand new parts, then obviously you'd set the condition to new, vice versa for used. If you want the wanted list to specify the minimum wanted quantity, which I'll show you what that is in a minute, then you can tick that box. It's already ticked by default, and I would recommend that you leave that tick by default. If you were wanting to part out more than one set, or create a wanted list for more than one version of this set, you can specify the number here, but again, for this purpose of this, I'm going to leave it at 1. At the top, really basically, is whether you're parting out a set, parts of the set, minifigure, bulk and gear. Again, it defaults to set because that's what you've told it to do. I would recommend that you leave it at set to set as the option. You can say include extra parts. So as most of you know, when you're building a brand new set, you always get some little bits left over. Bricklink is clever enough to know what those little bits, and you can tell it when it part it out to include the extra parts. Why you'd want to do that if you're building, if you're parting out to build a specific set, you're not going to really want the extra bits, but you can do that if you want to. And then part out as individual parts basically means you can part it out as individual parts instead of grouping the parts together. So let's say there's, I don't know, two 2x2 plates of the same colour. When you create the wanted list, it will create one line for 2 of those, whereas if you wanted that to say one of those and one of those in separate lines, you can tick that. Again, why you'd want to do that, I don't know, but you can do that. Recommend that you leave these 2 options blank. So once you've done that, you click submit for edit, and then that should load up into the wanted list. So here, the option that I said that it matches the minimum quantity, so what it will do is it will say that if I needed 10 of these, for example, to build this, then it will automatically populate that 10 in there. You can edit here. Here you can also specify any of the parts on the wanted list, whether you want to make them condition new or used. You can say whether you want to specify maximum price or not. Again, I would recommend you leave that blank. If you already had let's say in your stock you already had 5 of these, then you can say how many you actually got already. So then when you actually go to look and search the Bricklink stores, it will only price up what you need rather than the whole list. Again, for a brand new set, for a set that you've got no parts for, leave that blank. Remarks, you can basically put anything in there, it's just a comment section. Notify means that you will get notified via the Bricklink communication system when anybody or any store lists that and sends out a notification to say that they've added that part to their store. Again, I leave this blank. And then the exclude option basically means when you go to do the store list, or rather when you go to do the store search, it will exclude that part. Again, why you'd want to do that, I don't know, because you're building a wanted list, therefore you want the search to include everything, but you can exclude specific parts. Again, I would leave that blank. Double check, it's just the full list it shows you. Once you're happy with it, it even shows you the minifigure that comes with it. You can then click the add to wanted list. So we'll just add that. You can then go to the wanted list, or you can part out more items. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to visit the wanted list just to make sure that it's there. And this basically shows you the wanted list in a non-edit mode. So as you can see here, it's saying I want one of them, don't have any of those, I want one of them, don't have any of those, etc, etc. Now, if I just take you through the other route of actually parting out, and it's very, very similar. If I hover over the want menu option and then go down to part out, so if you remember earlier in the video, this is where you can put a set number or browse a set. Very, very similar. You'll recognize the screen already because it's once you search for a set number and you go into the current stock of people selling it, and then you hit that part out option into the wanted list, it takes you to this screen if you remember. But I can do a very similar thing. I can just enter the set number, which is 75892, and then I can click the tick, and then it puts me back into the same position as though I'm creating a brand new wanted list. Again, create a new wanted list or add it to an existing wanted list. So that's just the other route of doing it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to my wanted list, if that makes sense. So I click on that, and as you can see, I've got quite an extensive wanted list. But right at the top was the last one that you created. As you can see, McLaren Senna wanted list. So what I want to do now is I want to search the Bricklink stores to find the cheapest option for all those parts that's on that wanted list. How do I do that? Well, there are 2 ways to do that. The quickest and easiest way, and the one that gives you the cheapest option with the minimum number of stores, is this easy buy option here. So as you can see, this is going to send off a search against all the Bricklink stores that are currently selling, are currently on the Bricklink system. It's going to look for 89 items. It's going to try and find the minimum number of stores that you need to buy those items. It may spread it out across a number of stores. It may, if you're lucky, it may find one store that's selling all 89 of those parts. So I'm going to click this easy buy button, and as you can see, it's looking for 89 unique parts, which is 215 parts in total, and it's doing a search on all the stores. And there you go, it has found one store, the store being Brickplex, and it's going to cost me £22.01 to source that. From this point, and I'm not going to take it any further in terms of this video, but just to explain, if I wanted to then add those parts to a shopping cart, then all I have to do is click this button here. In fact, I will do it because I can always empty the cart. So I'm actually going to create a shopping cart with all these parts. I'm going to click on that green button. It's going to tell me it's created a cart successfully. I'm going to click on the carts, and then you will see. So once you're in the cart, you'll see your list of stores that you've got in here. You can click on the one that you've just set up, and here is the cart that I've just set up for that Brickplex order with all 89 unique parts, 215 items. I can click on the view cart, and it's going to show me everything I've got in that cart, and then you can proceed to check out. So the second way of actually buying parts for your wanted list, obviously I've shown you the easy buy option. You can actually go into the wanted list, and there's an option in there as well. So I'm going to click on the wanted list, and then there's an option here called buy all. Now I don't particularly use this option because I don't find this as easy to use as the easy buy option. But if I click this buy all button, what it's doing now is doing a similar sort of search, but it's also giving you other options as well. So what it's done is it's looked at the number of parts, unique parts on that set, and obviously the item count. The Brick Flex one has come at the top because that's the one, if you remember when I clicked the easy buy option, that's the one that it gave me as the only store that I can get all 89 unique parts and the number of parts that I need. But obviously there are other options, but they'll be dearer, or you may have to actually split them across. I mean, if you look down here, looking at this, there's a lot that say 89, so that's there's probably quite a few of these stores that actually you could probably source the parts from without having to go to multiple stores, and then you get down to 88. But these will be dearer. Obviously there you can see there's a minimum buy option on that. And if you were to select one of these, I mean, if you remember rightly on the easy buy option, I think it was £22, just over £22. But let's say I could go further down the list and I click on, let's say this one here, LKJ, and I click that, select that. Then it's going to go away and search that store, and it's going to tell me how much that's going to cost. And as you can see, that's going to cost me a little bit more than the easy buy search, which has picked the best, cheapest store for me. It's up to you. You might have a favourite store. You might think, well, actually I've bought from LKJ before, so I might pay the little bit extra just for that insurance that I know that I've dealt with that store before. Me personally, I'd just go with the cheapest option. So that's the other way that you can search the stores. Anyway guys, that is it. So obviously, just to recap, I've shown you how you part out, 2 routes to part out a set. I've shown you how you can adjust that wanted list. You could go into that wanted list. And I've also shown you how you can search the Bricklink stores to try and find the parts, so then you can build that retired set. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. If you want to ask me any questions about this video, then drop it in a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video in the comment below. Please hit that subscribe button, that'd be much appreciated. Don't forget to hit that little bell icon or the cog icon just to turn on notifications so you get notified when I do a video release. Alright then guys, I'm going to sign off now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Look out for more Bricklink tutorial videos, as I'm going to do a full series on these. The next video I think I'm going to do is how to part out a set to sell the parts. Anyway guys, I'm out of here. Cheers.